We're holding in haGuela Siman Chav Ches, Be'ezras Hashem. And this is going back on Parshas Ba'al Hoischa. It's part of the Rebbe's Ba'al Hoischa Torah. He speaks about the Shaila of Asfesef Asher Bekir Boy Hisavu Tava. In Siman Chav Vav, he brought in the second paragraph, Isa B'Sifri. The Asfesef Asher Bekir Boy Hisavu Tava Elu HaGerim Anosafim Aleim. Reb Shem ben Menashe Omer Elu Askenim Shenemar Esfali Shivim Ish Miziknei Yisrael. So there's a machlokes Tanaim what the meaning of the Asfesef is. Who were these people who had a taiva for meat in the midbar? Were they the Gerim, in other words the Erev Rav, and the Lashon Asfesef is from the Lashon Asifa, they were Nesfu, they gathered together and joined up with Klal Yisrael? Or Shem ben Menashe holds no, they were the Zakenim, regarding which the pasuk says, Esfali Shivim Ish, gather me 70 men to be the Zakenim. So one of the Rebbe's kashas was, how is it possible that the Zakenim had this taiva? Bishlama, the Erev Rav, we know they were always the troublemakers. But the Zakenim were tzaddikim. They had Ruach HaKodesh, they had Nevuah. The Sanhedrin, how could they have been the ones to have this taiva? That was one of his questions. And then just quickly to chazder over the other questions that he brought. One was that Moshe Rabbeinu doubted, it seems like from the pasuk, Moshe Rabbeinu doubted that Hashem could bring the Slav. Moshe said, I have 600,000 people here, how are you going to give them basar? That's the pasuk pshat in the pasuk. But the Ramban learned that Moshe Rabbeinu, he understood that Hashem could do a nes. Now his shaila was, how could Hashem do it b'derech hateva? Because he held, if the oynish is going to be that they're going to die from it, obviously it can't be a nes. So it must be b'derech hateva. So his question to Hashem was, how could they do it b'derech hateva? And then the Maral disagrees with that. The Maral holds no. The Gur Aryeh, he says, you can't say that Moshe Rabbeinu doubted even that. So it must be, the pshat is it's a tefillah. He learns pshat in the pasuk that it's a tefillah. Moshe said, Sheish mi'os elef ragli, and you're going to give them basar b'derech nes? Please don't give them b'derech nes. Why not? Because when Hashem is doing a nes for Rishaim, it's a tircha lefanav, to hear the complaints of the Rishaim, and therefore there's going to be a kas, there's going to be chas v'shalom, an anger from Hashem on the Yidden for asking for the basar. So therefore don't give them b'derech nes. That was Moshe's tefillah. And Hashem answered, yes, I have to give them anyway, because otherwise they'll say, Hayad Hashem tiktzar. Okay, that's what we learned up till now. Ve'efshela hasbir oid ma shemala libam lecha me'aslav lamrois hasrois. Oh, and by the way, another question that he asked was, how did they eat from the Slav if they were warned that they were going to die from eating the Slav? They were warned, so why did they do it? Why did they do it? So, Bishlam, maybe the Erev Rav did, but why did the Zakenim do it? Why did the Zakenim ask for it to begin with? So, his answer was, in Siman Chav Zayin, that when they saw that it came b'derech nes, and it was so exact, it was mamish like at the height of a person's hand, so he could grab it and eat it, and it was just easy, and everything was done to make it easy for them. They thought, oh, Hashem Yisborach is happy with us now. He changed his mind, he's not going to punish us. So that's why they went with it, and they ate the Slav. And the Dimyon was obviously to the Tzionim and the religious Zionists in 1967. They saw that the war went so well, everything happened just right, so that they should win, and in such a short time. So they said it must be Hashem Yisborach is on our side, even though they were warned that Zionism is wrong, but they couldn't stand the Nisayan, and they went over to the side of the Zionists. Okay. So now, Siman Chav Ches, the Efshela hasbir oid, another pshat, an alternative pshat for why the Zakenim went with this request for the Slav, and why they ate the Slav. Efshela hasbir oid mashamala libam lechol me'aslav lamrois ta'asrois, despite the warnings, al pi mashakasav bi'arvei nachal, based on the Sefer Arvei Nachal, which is a Sefer written around 1800, a little bit later than that, by someone named Reb David Shlomo Eibshitz, who lived in Bessarabia, and then later on he came to Tzfas at the end of his life. And this sefer is on the Torah, and he says like this. He says, "Shebnei Yisrael shebeoisei ador."
This is the son of the Brianna snapshots?
No, not related. Shebeoisei ador shahayu dvukim tamid b'Moshe Rabbeinu. That they were connected to Moshe Rabbeinu. So zachu l'madrega gedola kazu shenita mehem atayva. They were zoicha to be on a level that they had no taiva, legamri. They had no earthly desires. V'hayu k'malachim, they were like the angels. So that's referring to the Bnei Yisrael. In the Midbar, they ate man, right? They ate a food that was like the Malachei Shares' food. It wasn't human food, and they never had any other food. So they were on a high madrega, and Moshe Rabbeinu had a hashpah on them. So therefore, they were like malachim. Amnam bazeh hayagam chisarim. He says the problem with that is shenisbata mehem abechira. If you're like a malach, you're on such a high madrega, then you don't even have bechira anymore. You don't even have any desire to do the wrong thing. You don't have any inner struggle. Even for Gashmias, even if there was nothing wrong with it, they had no taiva for it. So Kol Shekain for Yisurim, they had no taiva. Therefore, the Bnei Yisrael had a firm cheshbon. They said that we want to go back to our previous status. That we used to have when we were in Mitzrayim. We want to go back to having free will. We want to have a real choice. Of course, they still had free will, but the point is they lost that taiva, so they didn't really have a choice. And they wanted the choice. They wanted to conquer their desires. That to conquer your desires, to have a desire and to go against it is a very important foundation in Avodah. The Chazal say, Al yomer adam ef shi baster chazir. The Rashi brings this in Parshas Kedoshim, I think. A person shouldn't say, I hate pork, I hate treif food, I don't want to eat anything that Hashem asked. But rather he should say, no, I want to eat it, but I can't eat it, because Hashem told me I'm breaking my taiva. So the Klal Yisrael had the same cheshbon. They said, we want to have a taiva, so we should be able to break it. But they didn't have taiva. Really, having a taiva and conquering it is part of avodas Hashem. Even by heter, he's saying. Not only by baster chazir. First he said that you shouldn't say I don't like chazir. You should say I want chazir, but I can't have it. Now he's saying even for heter, you should hold yourself back. You should be abstinent. He says k'moisha amru b'perek misha achzoi gittin ayin amin aleph sudascha shehanascha mimena. When you have a delicious meal on your table, mishoich yadcha imena. Pull back your hand. Don't eat it. Meaning practice withholding yourself from something that's good, even if it's mutter. Tahainu shviras hatayva l'dvar heter, breaking your taivas. V'zehu avodah chashuva lifnei Hashem misbarach. This is a great madrega of serving Hashem. V'zehu she'amru. This explains what the Asapsuf said when they complained to Moshe Rabbeinu. B'shivteinu asir basar. They said, we wish we were back in Mitzrayim when we were sitting on the pots of meat. We were eating bread to be full. The Isa b'medrash, the medrash, and the question that the Rabbi Nachal asked earlier there was, what do you mean? They didn't get to eat meat in Mitzrayim. You think the Egyptians gave them meat? They didn't even give them...
Does that apply to every Avera? Like Basachas, every...
So there's a need about that. I don't know if it's going to be brought in at all here, but there's a shaila. If you say it by sichliistic averis, like let's say stealing, right? Should you say, I want to steal, but I'm not going to steal because Hashem said it, or should you internalize that stealing is a treif thing? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And the same thing by illicit relationships and morality. You shouldn't say, you're not supposed to say, oh, I want to do it, but I can't do it. You're supposed to rather say that it's treif, it's disgusting. Yeah, hold on a second. The third line, near the end. The Isa b'medrash, the medrash says, Shahayu yoshvim b'mitzrayim.
No, so really?
In the third line, well, in mine it's the third line. Let me see what it is in yours. It's a couple lines more. Isa b'medrash here. They were sitting in Mitzrayim, Eitzel Sir Abasar, next to a pot of meat, V'loy achlu rak lechem, but they only ate bread. Because the Mitzrayim, they weren't nice to the Jews, so they didn't want to give them meat, but they had them sit, to torture them, they sit next to pots of meat, but they didn't let them have meat, they only let them have bread. So they were able to break their taiva. And it says, Aval al-kaponim hayal lahem taiva lebasar. They at least had a desire for the meat, the shibru ta'avasam. They broke their taiva. So that was these Yidden's request in the Midbar. They wanted to have meat, but not because they wanted to eat it, but because they wanted to break their taiva. V'zehu shenemar hisavu tava. It says they desired a desire. It's a double lashon, double times, right? Shehisavu, but he's saying it means they desired a taiva. Not that they desired the meat, they desired the taiva for the meat. Shehisavu sheyiyeh lahem taiva. They wanted to have the desire, v'sheyuchlu hisgaber al ta'avasam, and they'll be able to overcome their desire. Ad kan toichin divrei ha'arvei nachal zal. That's the words of the Arvei Nachal. This sefer over here that I copied, written a couple hundred years ago. Okay, so ulefizeh, according to this, Yavayr Mashakasav b'Sifri Hanal. That's what we can understand the Sifri that says v'hasafsuf elu azkenim, that the asafsuf, these gathered people, they weren't just the Erev Rav, they were the Zekanim, they were the elders, the greatest people. The Gama Zekanim v'Sanhedrin hisavu taiva. Even these great people, the Sanhedrin, also had this desire. Ubikshu basa, they wanted meat. Ela shahaista kavanastim l'shem shemayim. They did it for the sake of heaven, not for the sake of their own eating, but for the sake of serving Hashem. The Erev Rav hisavu taiva. The Erev Rav those are the people that actually did have a taiva. The kavanastim ha'yalera, and they had the evil intention levakish tluna, because, like we said before, they had meat already. Even the Jews in the Midbar, they had cattle and sheep. They had plenty of meat. They didn't have to ask Hashem for meat.
Really?
Yeah. So it says, Gam tzoyin uvakar ala itam. Or Gam erev rav ala itam, v'tzoyin uvakar mikne harbe me'od. So they had lots of meat with them. They had no need for meat. So it says they just did it for an excuse to rebel against Hashem.
What does Tuluna mean?
Tuluna is like an excuse. Or complaint, really, complaint. Lavakish Tuluna, lifroish me'achrei hamakam, to depart from after Hashem. Kamash Kosta b'Sifri. Umeata loy pligi Reb Shimon ben Menasya v'Tanakama sheb'Sifri. The two opinions that are brought in the Medrash called the Sifri. One is Reb Shimon ben Menasya, and one is the first Tana. They don't really argue. Ushneim darshu me'lashon asafsuf. They both are true because they're both interpreting the word asafsuf. Kamash Kosta b'Sifri. One of them interprets it to mean the simple people, the Erev Rav, and the other one interprets it to mean the Sanhedrin, the greatest of the people. That's why it doesn't just say asifa, it says asaf suf, a double lashon, to show the the Torah means both of them. So what's the Rebbe's point in this siman? His point is that sometimes people could be into Zionism for frummer reasons. You see that originally Zionism was a secular movement. It started out Herzl and Weitzman, people who were secularists. What? People who were. So it started out like that, and Reb Chaim famously said, Zionism is the main purpose is to shmad, to bring them off the derech. Reb Chaim Brisker said. Back in Reb Chaim was back in like 1900, the time when Zionism started. And he said that. And then there's another Zionism. That's the Zionism of original. But then there came along people that, when they saw the 6-Day War, they saw the 48, but even more by 67, they felt Hashem's on the side of Zionism. And not only that, but the fact that they conquered the Kaisel and the Makam HaMikdash, Chevron, Cave Rachel, and for the first time in a long time, Jews had access to these places, and there was such a simcha in Klal Yisrael among even the fromest people, because they felt now is like this Zionism, even though it started out as secularism, but it's leading us to avodas Hashem. We can now go there and daven and be in holy places. We can make settlements in the holy places. All this is like the frumma version of Zionism that started around that time. So the Rebbe is reacting to that here, and he's saying like this: there's two types here. There's the Erev Rav, There's the people who just want it for the taiva, and then there's the Zikanim. They want the same thing. They want Zionism, but they want it for Fuma reasons. They want to become close to Hashem. They want to go. You see that by other movements also, right? There's modern Orthodoxy. There's people that want modern Orthodoxy because they want to be mekel. They want to find any excuse to do anything they want. So if there's a heter, there's some rabbi out there that gives the heter for it, they'll go find that rabbi, right?
But then there's the rebbonim that want to do kira.
But then there's also people, let's say, the women of the wall. You ever heard of them? Women of the wall, these women that wear tefillin and they wear talesim and they want to go to the kaisel and they want to daven for the amud. There's women who become rabbis today. There's women who learn Gemara. All this kind of stuff. That's also a modern movement, but it's a movement because they want it for Fuma reasons. So there's two reasons why you could want what's wrong. You could want what's wrong because you're bad, or because you're good, but you're doing it. You're putting your good instinct in the wrong direction. You're not letting the Torah channel and decide what's right. You're using your own mind too much and deciding, okay, this is what I want to do, even though the Torah doesn't let me do it. So there's two aspects to that, and there's two aspects to tzionis also. And the Rebbe is pointing this out here. He's saying it could be people who wanted the tzionis. They wanted the state of Israel, but they wanted it for Fuma reasons, and even they are included in the Zionists. That's what the Simon is really referring to. Yeah.
Yaakov Shapira has